gentlemen, boys, girls,
You're so muted in Discord.
fiends. Oh, hey. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, fiends, ghouls, goblins, and orcs. Thank you
Dark friends and Trollocs.
for joining us
What about
this
the Drakkar?
fine
What
moment.
about the Drakkar?
You know what?
War?
All of them, everyone, thank you for being here. Welcome to the Black Tower podcast. We are the Black Tower. We are a Wheel of Time podcast. We thank you here. We thank you for being here tonight and hope that you enjoy this particular dose of taint. And we hope that after you leave here, you're just a little bit more insane than when you came.
Now, those of you that know that we typically do spoiler style content, guess what? This episode is not going to be as spoilery. We'll do the spoiler warning here in a bit. And when I say not as spoilery, if you've seen the trailer, you're safe. So,
Oh, and if you've not seen the trailer, the hell is wrong with you?
Also,
But
we
anyway.
hope if you've read book one, but it's also not necessary because if you're here and you still haven't read book one, you probably don't care about spoilers if you've watched the trailer already.
What you just experienced was what our patrons experience. And there's several minutes of content there that you don't get to hear because Andrew edited it out.
so they experience
What
something
you are
they're not going
about
to
to
experience.
experience is another dimension.
But you guys have noticed, those who are on
Yes.
Patreons and who are listening live, you've noticed we've got an additional person in there who does not have a microphone icon by their name. What?
Yep. And they will be saying hi in just a moment. We're going to get the pluggy doohickeys out of the way after we introduce ourselves.
The pluggy dookie doohickeys.
Yeah, the pluggy doohickeys after we introduce
Yeah.
ourselves. So the gentleman who did our fantastic intro for this episode, that is our Sorvan Mahel, Josh.
Me. That's me.
Yay!
Hi.
I'm sure we'd
The
introduce
gentleman
And then
each
the
other.
guy
introducing-
who has a goatee is Daniel.
And the
That's
guy
him
who's
right
been
there.
doing the intros for the intros of the people speaking is the beardy man down there with the Shanarin senior slickback.
Senior slickback. Now I'm old. Okay. I prefer saucy slickback, but you know. it is-
Saucy slickback.
That was the one.
Yeah. And
And
collectively,
there's
like
my
Josh
brother Andrew.
said, and like Josh said earlier, collectively we are the Black Tower Podcast. If that wasn't already obvious by the channel name, the podcast name that you see whenever you're listening to this. If you want to find out more or be exposed to more of the taint here at the Black Tower Podcast, make sure you head on over to blacktowerpod.com. Sorry for the quick interruption, but just wanted to take a second to make sure you knew about blacktowerpod.com. It is our very own website with very handy links for you to access all of your favorite Black Tower Podcast stuff. Whoa, a break-in during a break-in for a plug? Yes, Patreon. It's a fantastic place for you to support your favorite content creators. For as little as $1 a month, you can throw some support our way and help us continue what we're doing here at the Black Tower Podcast. That $1 a month will get you into our live recordings. We will also shout you out during an episode, and you get access to record a spoiler warning for our episodes that we will use. There are some other perks like our Sword and Dragon Challenge coins that you can only get by being a Patreon member. And there are perks as far as getting some different random merchandise from us and things like that. Go on over to our Patreon and check it out. And we thank you again. Now, what was the other plug I was doing? Do you want to post in the forums on the website? There's a button for that. Do you want to join our Discord and talk to us there? There's a button for that where you can just click and join the Discord right there. One click and done. Do you want to check out our merch? There are buttons for those. If you want to see what we've been doing recently, there's a section called Dragonsworn On Demand, a calendar for the Black Tower. We thank you so much for checking it out. And now, let's get into the episode. Speaking of madnessy stuff, if you are listening to this episode live, we are just days away from the cutoff time for you to submit entries for our mixology contest for the Gathering Madness, which will be the 15th and 16th of October. You have unfortunately missed the opportunity to take and suggest hot sauces for our Taste the Taint challenge, and our lovely patrons are working away tirelessly voting on which 4 sauces from the suggestions we've gotten that we will be doing at the Gathering Madness. If you want to find all that
And can I
information,
just say, y'all are awesome, but also y'all suck. Because none of these hot sauces have been below, was it 135,000 Scoville units?
there are some below that now, but
Oh, are there? Okay, well that's better.
there's some that I've done some reading on, and while they have amazing reviews on Amazon, terrifying. Might have to rent a porta-john because there's only one bathroom in my apartment. So,
are we gonna
I was
blow it
gonna
up?
say every time the second that Andrew posted the list of hot sauces that we had that were going to be voted on, my butt already clenched like super hard.
Tara's already over. Like, so we're gonna need. So Andrew's gonna be bougie in spring for the aloe toilet paper that week.
Excellent. Yes.
I'm gonna get a bottle of aloe and toilet paper, and you better hope it doesn't fall apart. There's a sink right next to the toilet, so you'll be fine. I might get some wet wipes.
Good. Perfect.
So what you do first is you get some toilet paper and you get rid of the most, and then you treat yourself. Huggies Choice baby brand wet wipes. That's your main course. And then, if you want to, one more pass of the toilet paper to remove the excess moisture.
And then
there's your movie quote.
Do make sure that once you're done with all of that, you do give your taint just a little bit of attention.
Must cleanse the taint.
Usually after a long day, your taint needs a little attention.
That taint needs some cleansing.
I'm gonna have to buy like a budget bidet for this. It's gonna be a water bottle that you squeeze.
little foot pedal, like you like all stomp the old, on it.
Remember the stomp rockets that you stomp on the foot pedal and the rockets fly out? Yeah. Oh man.
Actually, we'll just have a bottle of Diet Coke just in there, and then you'll drop a Mentos in there.
Then it's gonna get all sticky. Nobody likes sticky taint.
Correct. Well, I don't know. I'm guessing some people out there like sticky taint.
That sounds like a bad sex move. Oh, left him with the old sticky taint.
I hit her with the Houdini.
Gathering Madness 2021. It's happening. Go to blacktowerpod.com/TGM. Get all of this firsthand. It's going to be in Havelock, North Carolina. Submit a drink recipe. Have fun with us. Oh my God.
And if you're looking for places to stay, I can tell you most of it is going to be, or a good fair portion of it is going to be here at my apartment. And I am within literal walking distance of the southern side of Cherry Point Marine Corps Air Station. So it'll give you a good metric to kind of where to look for.
The southern side?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Now,
yeah.
While you're on the Black Tower Pod's website, I don't know why I said it so weird. Anyway, while you're there, scroll down to the bottom and you'll see you'll see another one of Memo Art's fantastic chibis, and that is, of course, a link to our official sponsor, the Crystal Barista, also known as Madame Sorvan Mahale. Sorry to cut in again, but we got to take a second and thank our channel sponsor, the Crystal Barista. Make sure you head over to crystalbarista.com and check out all of the amazing rocks and minerals and the tools for rock hounding if you want to do it on your own that you can find there. If you want to do subscription boxes, Crystal Barista also offers monthly subscription boxes that are delivered directly to your door and hand-packed by Crystal Barista with the assistance of our own Sorvan Mahale, Josh. Also, make sure you check out the Crystal Barista's Facebook page at facebook.com/rockpick. That's pick as in pickaxe with a K at the end for all of the amazing deals that the Crystal Barista does do from time to time. It's also the same place where if you're in the local area, you can see posts and updates about coming events. Make sure you head over to crystalbarista.com and then check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/rockpick. And when you're done getting everything you could possibly desire from crystalbarista.com, make sure that you let the Crystal Barista know the Black Tower Podcast sent you. Now, back into the episode.
October also happens to be the month of the Crystal Festival. So if you're in the area or are so inclined and wish to travel to the area, you may come, and it is a free event. You may come in and see vendors that will also have all the goodness.
And the area is Ogden, Utah, not Havelock, North Carolina.
Well, it's Layton, Utah, but yes.
Oh, Layton.
That
it's
is
closer to Ogden than it is to Havelock. You'll be closer.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
You're not wrong
So,
there.
In fact, to be fair, it's actually closer to
To be
Los
fair,
Angeles than it is to Havelock. So hell, just come on in and see Daniel and then go to the Crystal Festival.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or do like Daniel and just be like, hey, by the way, I decided to pop in and say hi, which is awesome, by the way. Surprise visits are amazing.
Yeah. So with plugs all said and done and tucked in for their tainty night of rest while they listen to us as well, we have a fantastic guest with us. Fantastic guest. If you're fans of the Dusty Wheel Show, which let's face it, we all are, you will recognize his voice immediately. Go ahead and Norm, say hi to the folks.
What's up, everybody? And I raise my glass to you all, as I do every week. What's up?
Excellent. A toast.
Norm!
Love it.
Welcome.
Welcome
Super
to
awesome
the
having
madness,
you here.
buddy.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, is there any way I can be the Asmodee Dune Mahale, which is the black musician Mahale? You know, is that possible?
Yes.
I
Clever.
don't see an issue with it. I like it.
I like
Yeah.
it. I'm here for it. That's an energy I can get behind.
The black musician, the hell. I love it.
Every good military organization has a band group. So
Correct.
a faction or squad or whatever has a band section. We're going to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Ours would
True.
be an a cappella group, so you know.
It's an acapella
Excellent.
band. It's the Vanguard.
I love it.
It's the Vanguard because we know all the
For
sections
longest.
are GARs, not Aja.
That's right. And the Black Tower, we don't Haja, we Gar,
Indeed.
which is not the same as what they do in Ilion, which is Yar.
You do be
Wow.
right, sir. You do be right.
It do be.
And
So I
Andrew's
do
out.
apologize. Our new Mahale. Up until this point, you have been getting the taint in a slow, steady, reasonable amount. So you've only been going insane a little bit at a time every time that you log into our Discord. It's like just touching Sidene and just like stroking the edge of it and getting a little on your fingers. But now you're on the Black Tower podcast. And so if you don't leave feeling like you've touched the true source, some saw in your eyes and some
I
crazy
definitely-
ass voices.
I definitely jumped in the deep end of the pool here. So
Right?
Prove
Exactly.
yourself. Show me your saw, dude.
A saw, dude.
I did.
Is that how a certain figure greets the Dark One? Saw, dude.
Or
Yeah,
at least
I
all of
think
his
so.
other friends, all of his 12
Wah,
friends.
Wah, wah.
That's how he glows to his other friends that don't have saw yet.
That.
What makes you
Hey
better
man,
than
that
when are you gonna
saw,
get your
dude?
saw, dude? I went
Anyway.
to Chipotle
I
and I
hate
got
you
some,
guys.
a burrito with some carne asada.
No.
Have you ever heard of this puzzle game? It's called Sidak.
Oh my god.
Did you see that sick trick? Yeah, I saw, dude.
So, as we were discussing earlier, well, actually, no, we weren't discussing it. The spoiler level for tonight's episode.
Mm-hmm.
We have a spoiler warning, and here it goes.
We do. And we've
Spoil
been
it.
waiting.
Welcome to the Black
to
Tower,
use it.
the Wheel of Time podcast. All
Are you
let's check this
going to
one.
play?
It's playing.
It's
right
playing.
Welcome to the Black Tower.
Oh,
the
I
Wheel
can't
of Time
hear shit.
podcast. All right, let's check this one.
Let's check this one.
Well, look at that. This podcast episode is actually spoiler free, and that's a BTP
What?
guarantee or your money back.
Uh-oh.
You've already spent
I
the
I don't agree with this money back
Okay,
guarantee.
so no
You're
money.
just gonna fuck
money.
it
I'm
up.
sure they'll
for
send
us.
you coins or stickers or what? What do you mean you spent it on booze that don't have merch? Well, I mean, I guess they can give you a shout out on Twitter. What do you mean you're moving back to MySpace? Maybe they'll put you in their top 8?
I had to change
Wow.
my output source for voice model. I was like, man, I don't hear anything.
Gotcha. Boy, are we still
that-
using MySpace? Because we should probably get on MySpace
Is
to
that
make
another
sure
more shoddy?
that Justin Timberlake can see our podcast.
Justin Timberlake's on MySpace now.
I mean, he bought it. He owns MySpace.
Does he?
Ugh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Actually, to be fair, I don't know if he does anymore. I mean, he famously bought it like 8 years ago or something. Like it was a long time ago. But I don't technically know if he's still the owner of it or has sold it off or anything. But he did buy it at some point. He was the owner of MySpace.
So
You know what I remember?
$50.
I remember the fact that even whenever nobody else was, Tom was always our friend.
Mhm.
Tom is everyone's friend. That is true.
So
Okay,
Anyway.
play the spoiler again really quick, just so we can get like a clean playthrough.
okay,
'Cause
my bad.
It kind of felt like it was a little choppy.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I thought
sure
it
if
was
we got all
over
the way
like
through.
3 times.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this time I'm
Oh.
going to shut my mouth.
Welcome to the Black Tower, a Wheel of Time podcast. All right, let's check this one. Well, look at that. This podcast episode is actually spoiler free, and that's a BTP guarantee or your money back. What? You've already spent the money. Okay, so no money, but I'm sure they'll send you coins or stickers or. What? What do you mean you spent it on booze that don't have merch? Well, I mean, I guess they can give you a shout out on Twitter or. What? What do you mean you're moving back to MySpace? Maybe they'll put you in their top 8?
Excellent.
There you go. If you get spoiled tonight, we will put you in our top 8 on MySpace.
Hey, if you get spoiled tonight, I'll send you a coin. Because guess what? Some of us are responsible with money. More shoddy.
Oh,
We didn't do the thing you're accusing us of.
or I mean, yeah, we've never spoiled anyone ever.
It's a good thing that
No. The other thing. That we're responsible with money. Not the
yeah.
we spoil people all the time. Are you kidding me? If you're a
it's a good thing
Patreon,
that when
we
this goes out
spoil you
live, I can edit out
constantly.
all the spoilers, so we don't have to keep to that, giving out coins.
So
Just 30
tonight's
comments of,
episode
where's my coin?
is a special episode because as we've just heard, it is a spoiler-free episode. Now, what do I mean by spoiler-free? I mean, we're going to be talking about probably in the realm of book 1, but specifically we're going to be discussing season 1 of the TV series
As it
And-
pertains to book
as
one.
it pertains to book 1, as we
Correct.
feel like, you know, what's going to happen or how that's going to play out. So it's a little bit of a compare and contrast with a little bit of theory sprinkled on and a little bit of taint smeared over the top of it.
Always.
Yes, because the Black Tower podcast is known for its feelings.
Yes.
That's what makes it a special episode.
Damn
Yes.
Skippy.
It will be on Hallmark this evening.
This week on TLC.
This week on TLC, the Black Tower podcast.
Does
Do you
Josh
want
know his
another
feelings?
Christmas movie where a white woman moves to a small town from a big city and meets a small town doctor? Well, good, because we have another 4 of them this
Oh,
Christmas.
God. Oh God. Okay. So so first I want to kind of address the elephant in the room when it comes to the trailer, right? Because we all know
There was an elephant in the trailer?
there was.
Just that.
It was at
Fuck.
Winter Night. So Winter Night
Wait, there was-
is in
Holy shit, did you see an elephant Trolloc? Because that would be dope.
that would actually be
I thought what you're calling the elephant's trunk was just Trolloc peen. I thought it was like full.
some
Okay.
Trolloc peen.
Not only is Narg smart, Nog hung like a fucking elephant.
Hashtag Nard hung.
That's why he wasn't fast enough to stop Rand. He had
Tripped over his third leg.
giant dick.
That's exactly what happened.
There's a Facebook group that were posting a lot of loyal is hung style memes for a while, and I'm wondering if
Probably.
it's time to introduce some Narg is hung memes.
I don't want to imagine Narghun. Loyal is like on borderline. Narg is over.
To be fair, I don't know if I want to picture any of them hung. So
No. That's agreed. I'm with you, but there is a tier level of how much I don't want to imagine this.
All of them are no. It's just the level of intensity of no increases.
There's God no, there's please kill me now, and then there's Narg.
Okay, so it's basically what's his name? The porn star Jeremy. What's his
Ron
name?
Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Yeah, so there's Ron Jeremy, and then there's just penis porn, and then there's soft porn, and then everyone else.
Yeah, sure.
Basically.
So Ron Jeremy is Narg. Perfect.
Narg,
I
okay.
like it. Just the amount of I don't want to see or think about Ron Jeremy is the same level of Narg.
They're both.
I'm
just
looking in
as
the live
hairy,
chat right
so,
now.
Yep. Ron Jerry came in like a wrecking ball. Okay.
Anyway, now that
We
we're not
know
talking
that-
about penis,
We're not talking about, well, I mean, we are talking about penis. We're not supposed to be. I mean, we're supposed to do whatever we want, right? We're talking about I was trying to like segue into Winter Night, right? So like in the book, in the Eye of the
Narg and
World,
his peen.
Narg and his peen was there in Winter Night. So segue right there. It was a peen segue. And we get Winter Night exclusively through the perspective of Rand. So it's Rand and Tam. They're by themselves. They're in their farmhouse. And I really love the scene breakdown because you've got Rand that's like talking about, oh yeah, Tam, or Dad made a stew that was really good. And we got a bunch of logs and we pulled them in and we had a fire. He was sitting there in his rocking chair reading, and I was sitting by the fire reading, and everything was just nice and quiet. And Tam was a little spooked by Rand's vision, seeing the Black Rider, and so he went upstairs and strapped on a sword, and Rand was like, where did you get that? Tam's like, oh, your mother told me to sell it years ago
with my porn magazines.
Yeah, Dad, that doesn't answer the question. That's like,
right?
You're chilling out with like your very chill, like very down to earth, like socks with his sandals, gardens every day kind of dad. And then you hear a loud bump in the night, and he just comes out of his room like manhandling like a minigun. And you're like,
right? And looking like he knows what to do with it.
But it would be illegal.
So they're sitting there just having a chill night, and Rand a little bit weirded out by his dad busting out with a sword, but whatever, it's cool, it's a night. And all hell breaks loose, and we know it. The Trollocs bust in. Everybody is, Rand and Tam are screaming. They're like, what the hell is happening? Tam is felling Trollocs left and right. Rand finds himself alone in the front room. Narg gets up and is like, no. Yeah, whatever.
No, he leaves and comes back.
I know, they leave, they come back.
But yeah.
Well, Tam gets injured in the fight. Rand has to build a litter and drag him into town, which
and then he gets fined for littering.
Quite, yeah.
Bucket of fish.
Daniel, you're grounded, sir. And then he drags him into the city. And then when he gets to the city, or when he gets to Emmons Field, I can call it a city. When he gets to the city,
you can call it what you want. You can be
all
wrong.
of the action is done and over with. And it's done. It's all the chaos. What they see is the aftermath of the attack. Now, that's not riveting television, right? So first things first, Norm, when you think of how Winter Night is portrayed in the trailer, how it's portrayed in the books, what do you think we're going to see different in the TV show that we saw in the books? Perspective, scenes, action, the whole 9 yards.
I think we're going to see it through the eyes of Moiraine, honestly. I think we're going to see this knockdown, drag out, battle of an Aes Sedai and her warder just kicking butt and taking names. I mean, you saw at least part of the action with, Daniel Henney doing a judo roll and then just slicing fools and stabbing fools and whatever other sword forms he's going to be
They're
doing.
sawtooth bullshit blades.
Right.
Man, I think it'd be like a jump cut to them waking up inside of the inn, and then they're like, wait a minute, there's something amiss. And then they run down and then poof, here comes a shit ton of Trollocs coming at you. And, it's just going to be through their perspective. Since the show is going to be very Moiraine eccentric in the first season, I think we're going to see it instead of through Rand's eyes, we're going to be seeing it through her eyes. So
Okay.
I think when Rand shows up, it's going to be kind of like an afterthought, like, oh, wait, what the hell are these two people showing up for? Now what? Damn it. I just got done selling 50 Trollocs over here, and now I got these two country bumpkins showing up out of nowhere. What am I going to do? So,
Can I just say, I love your portrayal of Moiraine. It's perfect.
It is.
Man, I just spent all night fucking murdering some Trollocs with the border over here, and now I got these two motherfuckers just showing up right after all of this
I
is
do.
done.
yeah, see, Moiraine is now
fantastic.
all of a sudden Samuel L. Jackson. Just,
Yes.
I am tired of these Trollocs showing up in the fucking Emmons Field. What the hell?
In this
Now-
motherfucking
Hey.
field.
Hey, say sardine one more time. Say sardine
Sardine.
one more
One
time.
more time.
No, I like that take.
I
That
chant,
we're gonna see
motherfucker.
it.
Do you speak it?
Fantastic.
Well played, sir. No, I do
How
like.
many Samuel L. Jackson quotes can you get in one episode?
I do like
Yes.
sort of the different take of seeing that through Moraine's perspective, because as you mentioned, and as we've seen in the advertising, a lot of it's going to be very Moraine centric, at least in the beginning. So I think that makes sense to see. Well, and plus, when you've got a TV show, you want to have it more visually appealing. You want people to enjoy seeing it with their eyeballs, rather than just reading words on a page and imagining all the action. Those
I think my favorite one for Moiraine to do would just be in the hall of the tower. And she goes, I recognize that the Amerlin seat has made a decision, but since it is a stupid ass decision, I have elected to ignore it.
ignore it. Oh, that's a good one.
And then
That would be
Swan
a
Song
That would be
just looks
good.
at her
That
and
would be
goes,
good.
Fish guts, and then just it cuts. We're just done with that scene.
fish guts.
Plus, it's also a good misdirect because
Yes, it is.
they're not saying who the Dragon Reborn is, and since we're not spoiling
That's
past
true.
book one, if you're focusing on Moiraine, they just said in pretty much in all of the written stuff they've been saying, one of these three boys or one of these five people, they said, could be possibly the Dragon Reborn. So
Mhm.
it's a good misdirect to focus on Moiraine, and then then eventually leave with the four
Yeah.
Emmons Fielders, and then eventually have one more show up.
Yeah.
So that way it's a good misdirect. So that hopefully, if they're doing it right, my guess is that they'll focus on Logain, since he's supposed to have a bigger role. Logain is going to be the big red herring of the first season until maybe episode, I would say 6, is when they'll finally reveal who the Dragon Reborn is, or who
Oh, wow.
should
You
be
got it
the
early.
Well, we don't know what 7 and 8 is going to be. So
Yeah.
So since we know 6 is theoretically probably going to be the end of book 1, 6, 7, and 8 will probably be somewhere going on of book 2 in majority.
See, I think they're actually just going to change the whole story, and Logain is actually just going to be the Dragon Reborn, and it's just not even going to be the same books that we read at all, and it's going to be great. We'll just get Logain just from the beginning, just Alvaro Muerte, just fucking running around as the Dragon Reborn, and he'll just be like, "Ha ha, motherfuckers!" And it's going to be great.
And Lan is his father, and Moraine is his mother. So there you go. Because
I like Lan
Logain
as his father, but
Logain, I am your father.
No. Then Thanos
That's
shows up with the
impossible.
Infinity Stones.
whoa! What if halfway through the series, half of the population of Randland just disappeared, and you actually find out that it's actually been in the MCU the whole time?
I was about to say IGN will do an article that says Wheel of Time was just confirmed to be a part of the MCU.
Hey,
Really
Because
awesome.
what
they did
if?
all the goddamn.
What if?
What
Yes,
if?
what if? I am the Watcher.
This is a great show, by the
through
way,
these
so-
vast
It is pretty good.
realities.
It is.
Okay, so
Come with
so
me and
Logain.
ponder the question. What?
So now here's the thing, like you've made a nice segue into Logain, right? Because in book 1, Logain has a very, very small part to play.
A paragraph?
He's there for like 8.5 words.
Yeah.
Like-
and what he does is get
His entire
wheeled
appearance
into
can be summed
town.
up with man in cage.
Mhm.
Who laughs?
Man in cage. Yeah, I was gonna say man in cage who laughs. That's what
I mean, the only reason he has any sort of forebodance or weightiness to his name at all is because Padan Fane was saying, "Ah, yes, there's the new false dragon. He's got an army. He's called Logain." And then, like, all of a sudden, we're in Andor, and we're like, "Hey, by the way, that's Logain right there." And oh shit! Okay, so he was a false dragon. They got him. He's gone. He's done.
got him.
Got him. Ah!
Mission accomplished. No.
Mission
Right?
accomplished. Yeah, that's it. We're done.
They put
Logain's
it on
done.
they put it on the aircraft carrier, and we're all done.
So, so when we got word that Logain was going to have a larger part, first off, I was happy because I love Logain. He's one of my favorite characters.
And also
This-
Alvaro.
And
Alvaro, come on the show.
Second, Alvaro Muerte, which, senor,
Dear Heart Tamerlane, come on.
that would be great. But I think it makes sense to have Logain have more part to play early on in the series as well, because there's a lot of story that kind of happens without him. But in this way, they can introduce him as something that is important, and they can kind of be following along with that, and they can accelerate some of the other story points to fit with the pacing of the TV show a little bit better. Because once again, TV show and books are different. There's going to be different pacing as well as different imagery. Like these are big things that they're going to be. So I feel like that's a really good move.
Well, and one of the things that I will also throw in there, sorry, real quick before I definitely absolutely give the floor to Andrew. Is the the fact that, again, we all know that Robert Jordan wrote book 1 with an idea and an intention. But at the same time, book 1 isn't the same as book 9. If you read book 1 and that's all you've read, you get a different story than what Robert Jordan actually intended to write as he started to flesh things out later. And so this is an opportunity for the TV show to shore up some of those sort of rough edges of he didn't 100% know what he was doing here in this moment or in this arc or in this whatever, and really give them an opportunity to lead or lean more into the spaces where Robert Jordan wasn't 100% sure at the time. And I think that that's a really good place to be because, of course, again, they're not in the position, and I'm not calling any of these authors out. I'm just using them as examples. Starting the Harry Potter movies before the Harry Potter books were actually finished. Starting the Game of Thrones TV show before the books were actually finished. There have been a number of examples of times where they have started a television show or a movie before the book series is done. And sometimes they get a little wonky because you don't know everything that you should. You don't know the full scope of the story. And so things look weird or happen weird in the first movie or the first season or the first whatever. Even up to a certain point until the series is over. The nice thing about this one is that you don't have that. You have Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson's fully fleshed out world. And from the jump, they can make sure that they don't have any issues a la the first book that are, okay, but they explain that in book 5 and it doesn't actually work the way that they showed it in book 1. Why? And of course, again, meta, you know that the answer is he just didn't have the full thing 100% worked out yet, or didn't think he was going to get this far, or whatever the case may be. But it's nice to not have that problem in the new adaptation. Andrew.
I was just going to ask Andrew, what do you think we're going to see significant differences in Logain in season 1?
Yeah. Well,
what was your deviance theory there?
Yeah, one of the big things I think is going to happen, we talked about it when we did the live stream with Tom from Dragonmount, is I think the reason we haven't seen a casting for Elaine and Galwyn and Galad and Elida and Morghese is that we're not going to see that in season 1. So we know from the Q&A and everything with Rafe that season 1 is going to incorporate things from books 1, 2, and 3. But it's not going to be everything. Yeah, but it's not going to be everything from those books. And the season 2 is going to include things from books 1, 2, and 3 as well. So I think to make room in season 1 for the expanded Logain role, which I think is going to be a lot of like scenes of like fighting to capture him and him maybe breaking free at some point and then recapture or something like that. Or maybe by the end of the series, he's still broken free and we don't see him recaptured, and we see it in season 2 when Rand and company go to Caemlyn, and that's when we find out that Logain was actually captured. And then we see Elaine and Galwyn and Morghese and Elida. So, and Galad.
Maybe.
So that's kind of what I think. I don't think we're going to see any of Caemlyn or anything like that in season 1. And instead it'll be at least pushed to season 2 to make room for a full fleshing out of what happens with Logain.
And plus, you can also with Logain, you have the opportunity, piggybacking on what Daniel was saying, you have an opportunity to show the dangers of male channeling. You also can show the importance of what the Red Aja can do and what their mission is. So, I mean, before we even get to what the Dragon Reborn can do, we see the dangers of, okay, this is what a male channeler can do, and what how if he gets more tainty, he can really truly mess up the world and himself and everyone else around him. So you can do all of that through Logain in an expanded role. And then when we find out who the Dragon Reborn is, then we can be scared for him, have more of a sympathetic role for him. Going, oh snap! No, he's gonna no, please, no.
That smile, that damned smile.
And especially
No, I agree. And one of the things that I actually really appreciate about that as well is that so many stories, and one of the reasons this happens and it's a trope and it works really well, or sorry, that it happens so often is because it works really well. But we don't have to have the prequel. We don't have to open the story up and have Galadriel do the narration across the top of the War of the Ring. We don't have to do all of this different stuff of you're coming into this world and men have broken it and women are the only ones who are allowed, and like, you know, all of this different, you know, explanation and exposition that often happens at the beginning of these stories to get you steeped in the world. They can do that with the, you know, conversations about Logain and about why he's so dangerous. Oh, it's because male channelers go crazy and they kill people and they broke the world. And then they actually get him captured and then he's like, no, you didn't. And he breaks out and he goes fucking nuts. And you're like, oh yeah, no, that's terrifying. I can totally see why that's a fucking problem.
Yeah, and we get hints that they may be doing that because we do hear Rosamund Pike as Moraine say, like, you know, and the women that can use this power, we protect the world.
Correct.
So
I imagine that there's going to
lend
be some
credence.
kind of exposition like that. I just really hope that it doesn't come exactly the same way as like Lord of the Rings and Avatar and, you know, a number of other really good examples of. I love it when it's done really well, and I love the fact that it has been done in a number of cases because it's a very successful way of doing it. But also, like,
Well,
You know what else it might do?
it, like, if that makes sense.
You know what else it might do? It might allow them to introduce Saidin as just as fantastically powerful as Saidar without the slow buildup that we see in book one.
yeah,
I agree. Also, can I just pause for just a second? I know that none of you Patreons can see this, but I absolutely love that Norm has a background that is the Amazon on like the Wheel of Time thing. And if he sits just right, it just looks like he's got the Loki horns coming off every side of his head. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. No,
You look
I'm really-
like a very bougie Trolloc, and it's fantastic.
Today on
Just,
Trolloc
goes back.
Cookpot, we are cooking some villagers we pulled from the plains. Now, the plains villagers, they have a very herbally taste to them. They eat many of the venisons. So we like to have
back into
Narg cooks for you.
Just go back into the outdoor farmhouse, and Narga's like, "Oh, you have returned. Please have a seat. Would you like a decanter?"
Oh,
Even though this is a glass.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Have a seat. Narg and his peen have a proposition for you and your father.
No,
No,
no.
no. I'm really
No.
excited about
And
expanded
then you have
Logain.
the other Trolloc who just comes in and he's like,
Bork, bork. And it's just like throwing pieces of villager in the cookpot. He doesn't care.
Wait. Welcome to Fantasy Island.
Why does that make me think of Ratatouille? Where like Ratatouille or like the Remy the rat was like all like high class with his taste, and his brother was just like.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. So you have
That's it.
Narg and his brother Flarg, and they just cook together. But
Narg
Flarg
and
just eats
Flarg.
whatever.
Well, and we know that Narg does have culinary interest because Narg is the sous chef
Of
in
Malkir Talks.
Malkir Talks kitchen. Yeah.
Correct. That's great.
Narc smart.
Narg
Narg
smart.
smart.
Anyway, Josh, you were actually saying something.
I was just gonna say I am super excited for the Logain expanded role for the
Same.
reasons I discussed before, and we've even started to see. I mean, we've done. Andrew did a really cool, in-depth, frame-by-frame of, the Logain scenes in the trailer, and there is a dark wispiness when he's channeling, and we might get to see the taint. We might get a visual cue that the taint
Almost like
exists.
there's actual darkness hovering over his shoulders,
Yeah.
whispering in his ear, "You're going crazy. You're not good enough. They're gonna get you." Oh.
And as there should be, because
Yep.
they keep this described in the books. It's like dipping your hand in oil,
Yeah.
and on the top part of oil, and then when you finally get down to the water, that's where you got stuff.
That's where the good
picture,
stuff is.
just picture, Louisiana after what's his name, BP oil spill.
Yeah.
Pretty much what that taint is. I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna make the BP oil spill joke, and I was like, nah.
I'll go there.
Well,
I'll go there.
That
I wasn't
The
afraid to go
interesting
there.
thing
It's
too,
like,
though, the interesting thing too is this brings up a potential variance between the book and the show, because in the book, Logain held off the taint pretty well. You could argue that his madness was being manifested in his hatred by the Aes Sedai, but I mean, look what they did to him. I'd be pissed off too.
Look at what they did to my boy.
Look how they massacred my boy. But
My boy
if-
Logain.
if they create him too insane in the beginning, will that create problems story-wise later on?
How many
I have a
back-to-back
strong
episodes can we
feeling-
have Daniel do the Godfather?
I have a feeling that they won't start him to be insane, because again, insane is even more terrifying. Because
Even if
again,
it's only just in the membrane?
yes,
Yes. Especially
because we all know that, like, again, the Hulk is kind of scary, even though he's an Avenger.
right.
You're like, at any point, he could just turn around and point the Hulk at all of the people we like.
And smash.
And that's not good. It's that like perceived fear, that perceived like this could happen, that the possibility of it. And so again, even if Logain is just strong and mad, you'll already get the fear. You'll
Yeah.
already get I understand why everyone's afraid of the capabilities of Saidin. And so they don't necessarily need to make him crazy. They just need to suggest it.
Yeah.
The fact that at any point he could snap, at any point he could go insane and just turn all of that power that he's mostly throwing at Aes Sedai and warders, because they're the ones who are right in front of him and trying to hurt him. Okay, what happens when that just goes out to everybody? What happens when that goes out to innocent bystanders? What happens when that goes out to friends and family? You don't necessarily need him to be insane to have that fear, have that possibility, have that oh fuck moment.
If he's just that powerful.
if he's just that strong.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
And plus,
point.
if Navarro is as great an actor as what I've heard from everyone saying,
He is.
like you said, he doesn't have to go insane. Instead, he can just look pissed, perpetually pissed.
Which he
Where-
did in the trailer. Like,
where it's like, you look at the man and it's like, oh shit, did I piss you off? What did I do, dude?
No, I
Don't-
just have resting Saidin face.
yeah, and that alone can be enough to show how the taint is affecting him. He doesn't even have to be, yeah, he doesn't have to do that. He can just be, just
Oh, yeah, that's spot on.
yeah, just I can't do it. But I mean, when your mom gets pissed off at you, and I know my mom's gonna watch this, so
Mhm.
when I do something, and I've never been in trouble, but if I ever have been in trouble,
Hi,
my
Norm's
mother
mom.
would look at me. My mother would look at me with that face, and I would just
And she would
crawl
just
into
remove
my
one
hole.
chancla, and
It wasn't a chocolate; it was a belt. But yeah.
Well, I mean,
but
That's
yeah,
those
it was-
cultural,
basically-
differences.
What is a belt
basically,
but
yeah,
a chancla for your waist?
I would draw, yeah, and just never, I'm sorry, mom, my bad. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
I think that can work too.
No, it is.
At least for him. But there's other guys who are going to be, cuckoo bananas. But
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But that's later. We can't go past
Well,
book one. So yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, we know. We know
Right.
what's going to happen. So, okay. And then we've got, I did actually hear some conversation a little bit. I'd kind of like to hear you guys' thoughts on this. And I think we discussed it a little bit in one of our Discord conversations, but Loyal. No, we discussed this with Critter. Loyal. How is Loyal going to be portrayed? How do we think the Ogier are going to look?
Just don't talk about their ears. That's incredibly rude. It's impolite
Or
in
their
public company.
eyebrows.
Or the yes,
or
their
how
eyebrows.
much they look like Trollocs.
Or their long handles.
Or long handles, yes. Definitely don't talk about long handles because that'll get into a weird
It's got a
situation on
rat.
Discord.
Ogier.
Because
What do you
if you
think?
start
What
talking
do you
about-
think the Ogier version of Panic at the Disco's like name would be? Like slight concern at the stump. Like,
Mild perturbation at the council of the stump.
In the general
Uh,
vicinity of the stump.
There we go. Yeah. Oh god.
I just hope
I
he's,
have high hopes for
I-
a.
I hope he's taller. I hope that they make his features larger, like his eyes are a little bit larger than normal.
Yeah.
You can always do the prosthetics on the ears, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually really hope that he is fully prosthetized out.
and have
Yeah.
not to be
props,
confused with prostituted out.
and
No,
have
that's
props.
That's
that
not
are
what I
like-
said.
you know, but
That's what I
have
said.
props
Not
that
to
are
be
like,
confused with.
We
Yes.
we did a pretty in-depth look at the scene where they're rolling up to the Waygate. We went kind of did a frame by frame. I don't think Loyal is there.
I thought
think
he
he
was. I thought he
Or at
was.
least
thought there
I
was a-
would say that he is not at all featured, and therefore he is okay. So this is one of the things that I will say, and this is mildly in response to something that Andrew said, which I'm not actually disagreeing with you. I think that there's absolutely the possibility, since we have no information on it, that we actually won't get Camelin at all. But it is interesting that they're keeping so many things so close to the vest. We know that Loyal has been cast.
Yes.
He exists. We know that Pod on Fame has been cast. He exists. There are a number of other characters that we've been even spoiled on who is playing them. And yet in the trailer, they are either nowhere to be found, or there is a second, or not
Yeah.
even a second of their presence, which is one of the things that I think is interesting of like, again, as someone who is well aware of how a lot of media productions, especially television films, are made, I have a strong feeling that they didn't just pick up all of the scenes that they're not using in the show off of the cutting room floor and made a trailer out of it, because that makes no sense.
No,
But at the same time, the trailer doesn't seem like a cohesive first episode at all. And the trailer definitely doesn't even totally seem like a cohesive first season. So I'm like, where is the disconnect here? And where is the characters that we don't know about, and the characters that they didn't show, and the storylines that they didn't go into? And that's what I'm really, really excited to see, because I actually very much appreciate that the trailer gave us some idea of what's going to be important. And I think that those things aren't not going to be important, but there is so much more that they're going to have to go into. And again, even on people that they've announced, Min Farshaw is being played by someone we like. Padan Fane is being played by someone we like. Like, all of these characters are being played by people who matter and who have, you know, filmographies and things like that. And so it's interesting to think about, okay, but if all of this is missing from the trailer, does that mean that we are going to Camelin? And they've actually just been very jealous about the fact that they have not announced who's playing Elaine and Gawain and Galad and Morgaz and Elida and whatnot? Or is it actually cut? You know, how much of a role is Padan Fane going to play from what he plays in season 1? Or is he going to get like 8 seconds of screen time or none at all because he's not in the trailer at all? Like, it's a really interesting thing to think about, just how much was missing from the trailer. And also how much was in there. Because it's going to be a very interesting adaptation, and I am here for it. But also, like, what the fuck is season 1 going to be about? Like, I don't know.
Like, I'm pretty happy that we didn't get to see like every character that's been cast.
Correct.
Like I want the surprise, and I'm not saying that anybody is saying that like, oh, I'm so disappointed I didn't see Tom or Lola, because like we want to see them.
Yeah,
Amazon knows we want to see them because we freak out every time they even tweet. So they're like, okay, these guys definitely want to see it, but we gotta dribble some breadcrumbs, give them something to still be surprised about.
And it's like a couple minutes long. It's 50 different shots. Like it's a big, small teaser. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because they give us so much, and at the same time, they don't give us shit.
Right?
Just because you are a small trailer does not mean you are a small trailer.
But it was very intelligently done, because the nerds over here are looking at frame by frame going, is that Loyal? That's him. No. Is it him? I can't tell. I mean, like, we're in it. We're here. Like, this is us.
Andrew,
And
is that what you were doing the other day?
that's exactly
Because
what I was doing.
I didn't see you that close to the screen.
That's at least that's what I saw on the webcam I installed in his room.
Okay.
Plus, you also got to remember.
Are we at least making money on that OnlyFans?
I mean,
No.
Josh is.
I am.
You also have to remember.
$5 a month for
Josh
safe
pays
content.
for all of these trips with Adrian. Come on.
But you also have to remember, think back to
You're a star.
no, because since all of you guys are MCU fans, remember Captain America, Civil War. When Civil War came out, before we knew Spider-Man was part of that movie, that airport scene did not have Spider-Man in it at all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the full trailer at the end, under rules. What's up, everybody? And
then he got 2 seconds of
right,
intro. Like,
right. And Spider-Man is what? In the movie for maybe 10 minutes in that whole movie. So, when we get the full trailer, theoretically, hopefully my birthday weekend, that would be nice. Second week of October, October.
hey,
8th,
tweeter
9th,
of chaos.
there you go.
Come on.
Put it on my birthday.
Hook a Norm up.
That would be a great birthday present because, hell, I got episode 8. No, I got episode 7 on my birthday. Exactly on my birthday. On that Monday, but Monday Night Football. That was my birthday present. I got the episode 8 or episode 7 trailer. And that was awesome. So, for my birthday, put it out on the 9th or the 8th or the 9th that weekend, put out the full trailer. That would be sweet, So
Right.
that way we might see, other characters, we might have, hey, toss a coin to the Gleeman, whatever. And
Don't do that.
ignite a whole bunch of new songs.
Don't
Toss a coin to your Gleeman, there's something, that could work, So, and you never know. I don't think we're going to get Camelin. I mean, I would love to see Camelin. My personal theory is that we won't get Camelin until maybe season 4. Because quite honestly, you don't get Camelin much in book 1. You hardly get it in book 2. Book 3, maybe it shows up, but that's all about Tyr. And then when we get to book 4, Shadow Rising, we sort of get Camelin a little bit, but then book 5, we really get more stuff going on because that's, other stuff that's going on in the world. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I think we won't get Camelin for a good minute. If you really want to be honest, you can focus on Tyr, you can focus on Kyrien, you can focus on Tar Valon, you can focus on Edmund's Field. I mean, that's some big, huge places right there.
No, it's a lot to plot and
Right.
to to exposit.
Right. And if
To
you don't, and
expose.
if you
I
don't
think it's
need,
actually
if you
just
don't need to
expose.
be somewhere, because quite honestly, it's not that vital, then might as well hold on to it in your back pocket. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's like, why go to Ilion when we're only there for a minute? Why go to, what are the other great cities, like Eridoman? Why? We're there for like what, half a second? Why go to Tanchico?
Right.
We're there for like what, half a quarter of the book? There's some places that you don't really need to go to if you don't have to. So
Sure.
while I am bummed that we're not going to get the royal family in season 1, but not getting Camelin will be a nice juicy meatball for one of the later seasons, because then you'll get the super mega city of, okay, here is Camelin, boom, in all her majesty and glory, and behold, Queen Morghese, and then all of the shitstorm that happens with that story.
Sure.
If they decide to do that story, and we all know what we're
Sure.
talking about, so that way, you can stay to the core, just like Harry Potter did. They took out Quidditch, even though I was pissed off. They took out Quidditch in book 3 in Prisoner of Azkaban in the movie. It wasn't necessary to the story. So if you can stay with TV, you can stay true to what's the guts of the story. Okay, Moiraine, Emond's Field, Tar Valon. Now we got the expanded role with Logain.
Logain.
And the Ways, Faldara, that's going to be important. The Blight, which we haven't seen yet. I can't wait to see what's the Blight going to look like. I mean, that's going to be
It's going to be exciting.
hell. I want to see hell on earth. That's what I want to see. Hell on earth without the fire and the brimstone. I just want to see what is the worst possible place you can be on a planet that is not boiling with fire and oil, but you just walk and there's cacti
And just everything is fucking wrong.
right. The Venus flytrap can literally kill you, when or that gnarled tree, you just look at it wrong, you're gonna get eaten. I mean, I want to see that. I'm waiting to see that, and I hope they show just a hint of what that would look like in the full trailer. That would be incredible, because you could just find some random evil place, and say, oh, here it is, here's the Blight. Ah! Or make a sound studio and just do, a couple of parsecs here and there, and oh, we're the Blight. Wait, what?
Yep.
For anyone wondering, Josh's internet cut out, so he said that it doesn't like it's coming back up, so he'll keep us up to date on that. But that's why you don't see him anymore. Why you don't hear him anymore. So, yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much we can really talk more about that's really, I don't want to say meaningful to talk about, because there's always like some meaning to glean from it. There's always some interest in talking about any part of it. There's obviously a lot of things that we see that are different from what we've read, and there's going to be even more that's different than a lot of people's headcanons, as they were reading it.
Is Mashadar something that you thought would look like how they depicted it on screen?
No,
not at all.
Because my headcanon goes to this white mist that just hugs the ground very closely.
Well, that's exactly how it's described.
Right, and that's how it's in my head. And now, it's this black, taint, basically. That is.
Yeah. My theory on that is that we see this kind of like creeping darkness over Shadar Logoth, and it'll be something that as it gets close to an organic being, that we'll start seeing like tendrils that come out then to try to grab. And that might be a way that they're kind of minimizing how much they're having to spend on CGI for Mashadar.
Well, it's also true that, again, one of the things that I will throw out there is that later on in the series, there is something that happens that makes Mashadar similar to certain other things that we've seen. And so even though it is described in book one, and actually in later books, not even just in book one, as one particular type of entity, I do actually kind of appreciate making it more similar to the Taint. I actually, because they're born out of a similar situation in some ways. They're sort of both born out of the Dark One. And so I kind of actually, it is not my headcanon. You are absolutely correct that as it is described in the books, in the first book, it is not at all the same thing. But it is interesting to see that, again, that might be one of the opportunities that they're using to help watchers of the show who have not necessarily read the book understand better what they're looking at, and its relation to other things in the series, so that when eventually that matters, it doesn't come as any kind of like, oh, we haven't actually explained this very well kind of situation, which often happens in book adaptations of the, oh, well, everybody who read the book knows what we're doing here. But, you know, anybody who's just watching the movie doesn't actually know that Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs is Harry's dad and best friends. Like
Right.
that kind of thing, where they didn't go into it well enough to explain the situation. So now it kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere.
So then my next question would be then, how would you think they would portray Malcolm Shin? Because if that's literally the Black Wind, and you already have this black, tainty, oily thing that's coming out of Mashadar, will people get confused to think, well, is the Black Wind and Mashadar the same thing? I mean,
So Andrew and I
In
actually
book
talked
one,
about
you never
this.
see it.
Correct. So that's not true. Actually, it
they
tries to push out of the way
they
gate,
come out of the way gates going,
and it absolutely does.
And yeah, so and they,
Yeah.
they describe it as it seems like the darkness of the ways bulges outward.
Correct.
So, I mean, I guess there could be a bit of a fear of it looking the same, but it looks like the trailer depiction, at least, because that may be like not exactly how Mashadar is going to look. That might just be an effect for them to release in the trailer, but it looks far more like pixel by pixel kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it. Like a bunch of tiny insects like swarming together is kind of how it looks, which I like it because Mashadar is described as like an infestation
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, a hive mind infestation that has now taken over and consumed what was Eridol, born of the hatred and suspicion and greed of the citizens of Eridol. And that's why it like chooses to prey on Shadowspawn. Like if it has a choice between human Shadowspawn, it's going to go for both, but it's going to go harder for the Shadowspawn if it can only get one.
Go hard.
Whereas the Ways, I think it's just going to be like more wispy, kind of more like a wind, and it's going to be like maybe faster wisps that kind of like, you know, come around. If you've ever watched Naruto, like think like the Rasengan, especially the Rasen Shuriken.
okay.
That's like very wind based, and you see these spiral like very fast paced moves, wisp of chakra, where this would be like fast paced whips of wind. So something like that. But I think Mashadar's focus, or not Mashadar, Mashin Shin, his focus is more on the auditory horror of it.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't think the visual of Mashin Shin is nearly as important, especially considering that we do see it kind of bulge out after them a little bit whenever they do make it out of the ways, because they barely make it out of the ways before being consumed. And we may or may not see it later on.
Wouldn't that be cool though if there were actually bugs for
That
a
would be
Mashadar?
kinda cool.
If they're like little tiny bugs, I mean, that just already gets me freaky.
That'd be
You could think of
creepy as
Naruto
fuck.
too much.
I hate bugs.
Yeah, I actually one of the things that Andrew and we were talking about this as far as the depiction of the ways in another episode, and I loved the idea of like someone made the suggestion of working with the surround sound of people's like sound systems. And of course, again, if you're just using your TV sound, then you know you wouldn't get the full effect But like if you actually had like the different speakers around your room, that your like theater space, if you will, if like they had the different Machin Shin, Jesus fucking Christ, old tongue, the Machin Shin whispers like keep coming out of like different speakers and things like that, that would be so dope. And again, I agree with Andrew that I think Machin Shin is so much more auditory, whereas Mashadar is so much more visual, that they do run a little bit of the risk of them looking similar if they choose the same color scheme. They do. But at the same time, again, I think that people are, I'm going to get trolled for this later, but I do think that people are actually smart enough to recognize the difference if you try hard enough to make them different. So even if they're both, black and wispy, one will come off differently if you make it auditory, and the other one will come off differently if you make it, visually distinct and things like that. So I have faith in their ability to make them different, even if they use similar ways to describe them, or similar ways to show them on screen. Because again, I go back to that, like, they're all Dark One to a certain extent. I mean, like, they're not all from the Dark One the exact same way, certainly, but they are all evil and dark and devilish, and therefore sort of springing from the chaos of the Dark One to a certain extent. And so if they all kind of look similar, that all makes sense, because it's like, well, their origin point is very similar, even if it came about in different ways. It's all shadow.
I mean, it's all shadow. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Like, conceptually, they came from the same place. I don't recall any part of Mashadar coming from the Dark One.
Right, I thought it came from.
I just thought it was just born of, like, it's very Dark One-esque.
Well, what I'm saying,
it's listed as something like even the shadow like resists, because if it was like of the Dark One, there's a good chance that it wouldn't target Shadow Spot like it.
No, but what I'm saying is that, again, I'm not saying that it was actually born out of the Dark One, like it actually came from the Dark One. But what I'm saying is, when you get people like the people of Eridhol who are turning to methods that are as dark as the shadow, what they then create is
very similar.
Is extremely similar, if not basically the same thing via a different route, if that makes sense. Because again, the ways were actually tainted by the Dark One. The ways were tainted because there were men who could channel, who made the ways after the breaking of the world once Saidin was tainted.
Yeah.
So it actually comes literally straight shot from the Dark One.
Yeah.
Saidin is tainted as a direct touch from the Dark One. And so again, you can draw a direct parallel from from those. And I get that Mashadar is different. It did come out of humanity being horrendous to a certain extent. But again, as I said, kind of when you actually get to that level of darkness, it's almost like a difference without a difference, if that makes sense.
It's conceptually the same, even though they're tangibly
even the
different.
Origin point. Yeah. Exactly.
I wanted to make sure we made the distinction.
Yes.
Because you know that I know that you know that I know what you mean. But I didn't want anybody else to come and listen to it like, no, he's wrong. He's not from the Dark One. Like, no.
Correct.
We know.
Yes.
Yes, we know that I know that you know that you know that he knows that you know that he knows. You know?
Yes, and I think that Norm knows that Andrew knows that I know that Norm knows that I know that Andrew knows that that's true.
Dude. Dude.
Yep. All right. But But yeah,
I think this is a good time for us to start wrapping up. So,
agreed.
any final thoughts on book one and the trailer and that kind of stuff there, Norm?
I am just thoroughly looking forward to the full trailer to come out, get more of what we missed and what we're all longing for, and have a nice 3-4 minute trailer that's just, full of chock full of more tainty and non-tainty goodness that we can all just sink our succulent teeths into and dissect that for another month until the actual show comes out. And we're doing midnight watch parties going, okay, we're on episode 3. Dude, it's 4:00 in the morning. I don't care.
The good thing is, with it coming out on a Friday,
Just give me another episode, man. Just do it, man.
it's a good thing with it coming out on a Friday. Most people probably won't have to go to work the next day.
Oh, I will be taking the next day off regardless of what my work thinks. Yeah,
I am taking the day of off. I am not going to work on November 19th.
I think we start vacation on that week, so I may not have to. So
Nice. That'd be
I've already told the boss. I was like, November 19th, I'm not going to be here.
right.
I don't think it's on the
Why?
calendar yet.
Because I'm a huge fucking nerd. That's why. Thank you.
Like,
I'm
you
just gonna
remember-
not be here.
Remember how much you wished I would shut up whenever the trailer came out and I was here at work? Do you want that to happen when I'm trying to watch the first 3 episodes at work?
Yep. Also, we got to find out who won. I mean, we made the stakes that much higher for ourselves with our fantasy draft.
We need to schedule a live stream for that Saturday or Sunday
Agreed.
so that we can go over the fantasy draft stuff with Smack.
With Smack.
But yeah.
Yep.
So final thoughts, Daniel. Because Norm, that was it, right?
yeah,
Were you done?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with Norm. I'm really excited about the things that we didn't see, as well as the things that we did, and I love. I'm a person who doesn't normally watch trailers of things that I know I'm going to watch or I know I'm going to hate. So I have actually tried somewhat hard to not watch trailers of like the Marvel movies or the Star Wars movies or things like that, because they have a tendency to show you all of the good parts of the movie in the trailer. And then you get to the movie and you're like, okay, but I've already watched this movie in the 2 minutes that you gave me. And so I was very pleasantly surprised that I did not feel like I had seen everything from the trailer. And I'm just that much more excited about the stuff that they decided to leave out of it that I know is going to be there, as well as the things that they put in it that I'm very excited for. So I'm looking very much forward to November 19th, to the show. If we get another trailer between now and then for Norm's birthday, that's awesome. If we don't, I will chew on this until fucking November 19th.
Feel free to just insert yourself, Amazon and Rafe and Sarah, into the Gathering Madness and just trailer there at the Gathering Madness. I mean, it's almost a month before, so we're down.
October 16th sounds like a really good time to just drop a trailer into a Zoom call.
I would not be mad
Or you
at
could
that.
even do it on Friday and be like, oh, the full trailer release on a Friday, much
yes.
like the show will.
Yes, there we go.
Full
I like
trailer
that.
Friday.
Yeah.
Trailer Friday.
Trailer Friday.
Frailer Friday. Wait.
Trailer
Equally
Friday.
apt. It works. Yeah, I'm very much in
Andrew?
the same way. I think that is one of the pitfalls that a lot of trailers have fallen under. With the full knowledge that it can be very hard to create a trailer because you want to showcase enough excitement, enough of the good stuff that draws people in to watch without showing them the whole thing. And a lot of stuff from the trailer, you get the gist of everything that's happening. If I had never read The Wheel of Time and I saw the teaser trailer, I'm like, I want to watch it, and I have no fucking idea what's going on. Who's the creepy guy with the veins of, what is this? So it did a really, really good job of showing things that the fans are going to be like, that's Logain, and all, things that we could point to and be excited for. but also leave a lot of the mystique and intrigue and everything completely intact to not ruin that for any of us. And also, like, go ahead and show the fandom that's been watching this like a hawk, like more than a hawk, like a hawk with super eyesight.
Like a
go
dark
ahead and
one
kind of-
raven.
Yeah. And go ahead and help us girdle our loins for there's going to be differences. Like, I did not expect to see, a top, like a softcore topless Egwene and a topless Rand in the Winespring Inn. Like, that was not something I would have expected to see. I don't want to say just topless because I'm like, there's not boobies in the trailer. I mean, I don't want to get somebody like too excited to go and watch the trailer. I mean, you should be very excited, but not for those reasons.
What is it? The three horse hitch? Yeah, we're not on that show yet.
Jesus Christ.
Awesome.
Oh, but yeah,
Well-
so if you want to find more content about the Wheel of Time from other YouTubers, other podcasts, artists, musicians, that kind of thing, pretty much anything you can think of, head on over to thegreatblight.com.
All right, guys. Well, as we all know here at the Black Tower podcast, not everything that is touched by the shadow is lost. And that is totally true for thegreatblight.com. Now, Nablus and his team have done an amazing job of going ahead and putting this together, and it is possibly the greatest resource for those of us here in the Wheel of Time community. First off, you have this awesome homepage with posts from a bunch of your favorites. You can go and check out new things that you've never seen before, keep up to date on content creators that you already follow, and just go ahead and dip as many of your toes or your entire foot as you want into all of the different things that are going on. Now, also here, there is probably the best list of content creators. There's YouTubers, podcasters, artists, musicians, just about everything you could want. And if you don't see your favorite content creator there, that's fine. There is an application included in the site to go ahead and make sure that your favorite content creator is part of it. Just encourage them to fill out the application, and Nablus will be in touch. Now, after you've gone ahead and checked that out, you're going to want to pop over to the ever-expanding library here at the Great Blight, because it is something particularly special. Now, I don't know how many times I've gone ahead and joined a fandom only to find out halfway through my first read, looking up a character, that they die in the second to last book, which sucks. It always is very disappointing when you can't look up anything interesting about what you've read for fear of things that you haven't read yet. But they've fixed the problem over at thegreatblight.com. It is a spoiler-free wiki. That's right. That means that if you've only read up to Path of Daggers and you really want to find out what in the world you missed about Egwene because there's something you just don't understand, or if you want to get more information about Rand because you think he's super cool, you don't need to read past Path of Daggers, and it's not going to ruin you on a Memory of Light before you've gotten there. You'll know exactly where to stop. You'll know exactly where you are. And once you're done with that, make sure that you go ahead and help the site out, the content creators out, everything like that, with the beta nature of it. Up here at the top, you're going to see a problem, have a suggestion button. That is specifically for if you have any issues with the site or if you have any feedback. It's only something that we can make better with feedback and with help from the community. So come on down, check it out. Grab a couple of our videos or grab a couple of our podcasts, and we'd love to see you there.
When
Indeed.
you're done with that, you can get a ton of amazing Wheel of Time oriented merch, both content creator inspired and that supports content creators, as well as supporting new creations by Jen and Rob with Weekly One News in a more like general Wheel of Time inspired kind of idea over at newcreationsbyjen.com. Everybody loves merchandise, and one of the best possible places to go and get yourself some really dope Wheel of Time inspired and themed merchandise is, of course, newcreationsbyjen.com. So whenever you go to newcreationsbyjen.com, Whether you're looking for just Wheel of Time inspired stuff or not, you can find all kinds of really cool merchandise and goodie opportunities, all the way from gifts for your family, friends, significant others, whoever have you, newborns, children, toddlers, women, men, adults, anybody that wants anything, you can find something for them for sure on New Creations by Jen. Now, most of you listening are going to be looking for Wheel of Time stuff. And the easiest way to find it is to go to the catalog section on New Creations by Jen, where you can see the groups of stuff for us at Black Tower Podcasts, Malkir Talks, Talking Around Riyadh, Will Reads, The Will Weaves, and Weekly Will News. So you can find all of this stuff, and you can browse and look at all the different kinds of things that each content creator that is a part of New Creations by Jen's has taken and asked Jen and Rob to put up on the site. Obviously, we're going to use ours as an example so that you can go in and look at Black Tower Podcast stuff, because we are the Black Tower Podcast. So if you go on, you can get our Two Rivers Sniper shot glass as well as Two Rivers Sniper shirt. It's available on a red shirt. So you can go on and you can get our Frosty mug, which is one of the Frosty mug collectibles. Each Wheel of Time content creator that is on New Creations by Jen has a Frosty mug that you can go in and get for yourself. So after you get ours, make sure you get the others and get the entire set and join the Frosty Mug Society. Of course, there's more than just Frosty mugs and little shot glasses, and there's plenty of different kinds of shirts with different designs on them from all of the different content creators. Of course, you can find ours where you can get our logo in black and white on a shirt. I have one myself. It's fantastic and I love it. Jen and Rob do an amazing job of working with not only their customers, but the content creators that they help support with this amazing and very good quality merchandise. So if you have not head over to New Creations by Jen and gotten yourself something dope, make sure you go and do that. Again, it's newcreationsbyjen.com. It is the only place where you can get the Frosty mugs, with the exception of Dusty Wheels, which is on Zazzle. So head on over to Dusty Wheels stuff to find that. But other than that, you can get the full set from New Creations by Jen. And if you buy something from them because we said, hey, go and check it out, it's really dope stuff, don't be afraid to put a note in there like, hey, Black Tower Podcast sent us. Just because, it'd be really cool of you. But
Agreed.
yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed this past book one spoiler-free episode. It's not something we do terribly often. And yeah, I think that's it. Norm, thank you so much for making time to come on and chat with us about this. It's fantastic to see you and to chat with you. In addition to hearing you, do you call in every time? I feel like there's at least once that I didn't hear you.
I try to. I try to call in every week, but sometimes I can't. But I try to every week on the Dusty Wheel.
Got you. Well, it's fantastic to have you here one-on-one, all to ourselves, to chat about everything. But for all of us here at the Black Tower Podcast, thank you so much for tuning in and listening or watching or both or whatever it is you do with our content. We really appreciate it. We love you all. And I have been your Bajan Mahel Andrew, our Sora Von Mahel Josh, sends his regards and wishes he could have had the internet to stay here until the end, but bubbles of evil and things.
Right?
Whatever that means.
Indeed. And I have been your Amin Khan Mahale Daniel. And from all of us here at the Black Tower Podcast, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do, whether it be here or around the rest of the internet, on Patreon, on our website, all of that different stuff. And we hope that you are having an absolutely amazing morning. If you want to have an amazing morning, go watch the trailer again. It's pretty dope. And in case we don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
In the tower, you can bring your pain. In the tower, you can feel the strain. You've been having so much trouble just fitting Yeah.